This story cannot get any weirder. This is the tattoo that is on the entirety of Diddy's back. She may enter the body of either a man or a woman. She enjoys the game of flirtation and seduces people without distinguishing between the sexes. Sounds like Diddy on my side. Man, I got some crazy updates on Diddy today. This is going to be the highlight though, okay? We got things that are actually important to the current case, like them potentially dropping the trafficking case against him, like dropping the whole case. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But we also got this, where Diddy reportedly performed an animal sacrifice hours before being found not guilty in the 1999 New York nightclub shooting case. And just a preview of the follow-up story after that, animal sacrifice ban gains satanic practices, the new ordinance that would outlaw killing for ritualistic purposes. This is from LA in the 90s. Also, same time that this happened with Diddy, as many as 300 ritual sacrifices have occurred in Los Angeles during the past year, leaving a trail of mutilated carcasses and missing pet reports in every community of the city. And then down here, animal sacrifices have been increasing in recent years with the spread of satanic cults and the growth of Caribbean and South American immigrant communities that practice Santeria. I wonder if that's connected. And guess who was with him when he did it? Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo. Now, you guys may remember a week or two ago, we talked about an accusation levied by someone stating that J-Lo had inserted a foreign object into the privates of an 11-year-old girl. And I'm going to be honest, man, I heard that. I'm like, that's impossible. There's no way. I'll report it because it is being reported, and I would not be doing my job if I didn't at least tell everybody, like, look, this is what this person's saying. And she said, not allegedly, which means she's like, I know this is a fact. So I will tell you guys about it. Do I think it's true? I have no idea. It sounds too crazy. However, we have this in a documentary that is coming out right now, which is that Jennifer Lopez and P. Diddy performed some kind of animal sacrifice, a ritualistic animal sacrifice on their way to the courthouse when they had this 1999 case. Now, this sounds verified enough ways that they put this in the documentary, and we're going to talk about the details of that. But as a person who has been recently interviewed by a very prominent outlet about a story that's coming out, it's Vice News. I won't tell you like exactly what's going on, but there was a report. They knew that I was on the inside of a thing, and they called me to see if I could verify a detail related to this. Like, they look very hard into claims that are made that they're going to put into these, like, you know, nationally televised documentaries, to the point that I could say, if this is in this documentary, this is true. So J-Lo and Diddy sacrificed an animal on their way to the courthouse. So we're going to look into what types of religions believe in animal sacrifice, you know, strong enough that they would think it's important to do that on the way to a verdict. Okay. And then you can also back into the likelihood that what we heard about J-Lo is true, if this is also true. Well, or if this is true, then how likely it is that that one's true. Now, in other news, we have this story. Diddy may ask the judge to drop his sex trafficking case because the Bureau of Prisons took pictures of his to-do list. Very, very notable. Can you imagine if this guy gets off on this case on a technicality? And don't think that that doesn't happen in the United States. Okay, so we'll look at that. And then also, he did get a bail hearing as a result of the same case. And also, again, like I said, we're going to look at some of the religions related to animal sacrifice. So buckle in. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I say this every time, it's not free to watch my content, but it also doesn't cost money. So don't be the person that takes the candy and doesn't leave the quarter, because it doesn't cost any money. All you have to do is just click subscribe one time, and also like this video. I appreciate you guys doing that, and let's jump right into this story. All right, so let's start right here, where the Bureau of Prisons took photographs of Diddy's to-do list when they raided his cell, and they are using this as a potential way to get the entire case dropped, all right? So let's read the details here and talk about the likelihood that this happens, because this kind of thing actually does happen. They're saying that they violated attorney-client privilege, and also something to keep in mind here, okay? Just because Diddy is a bad guy does not mean that the prosecutors and the people who are involved at the prisons are also, you know, not questionable people, because you can't have it both ways, right? He's in New York, right? There have been a lot of real questionable things that have happened in New York recently, and I'm just going to say right now, if I'm going to pick which one I trust more, it's certainly the prosecutors in this case, but here's the deal. Let's look into what we're talking about, okay? So in court papers on Tuesday, defense lawyers said a raid on Sean Diddy Combs' cell was improper, and photos of Combs' handwritten to-do list should never have been given to prosecutors. The lawyers may now seek a dismissal of the case or recusal of this entire prosecution team. So, lawyers repeatedly warned they may seek to have this sex trafficking case dismissed because prosecutors caught a glimpse of a handwritten to-do list the rap mogul kept on his Brooklyn cell, in his Brooklyn jail cell. The to-do list, jotted by Combs on a white legal pad to memorialize jailhouse conversations with his attorneys, was secretly photographed and then returned to his cell by the Bureau of Prisons officials during a late October raid, a lawyer for Combs alleged during a hearing in federal court in Manhattan on Tuesday. So what they're saying is that they raided his cell to see what he had in there, and he had all of the notes from his meetings with his attorney, and it was like 19 pages of notes, and they took photographs of that and then sent it to the prosecution, which apparently is some kind of violation of attorney-client privilege, and the prosecution should have never had access to that strategy stuff because, and that's reasonable. There is no reason why either side should be able to see notes or conversations happening between an attorney and their client, right? Same exact thing in terms of like the defense. If they all of a sudden got access, like they sent in some person, hey, go into the prosecutor's office and take pictures of anything you see. And then there's like all these notes of like strategy. They take pictures. Like obviously that shouldn't be allowed, right? But this all happened, if you guys did not hear, during we talked about it on my other channel, Play with Matches with Gabrielle. If you don't follow that channel, you can go to the link in the description. That's the one that I do with my wife, whereby they said that Diddy had gotten caught trying to reach out to witnesses and bribe witnesses and all, a bunch of witness tampering stuff, which kind of verified why they didn't let him out of jail. So during that raid, they got, copies of all the notes between him and his attorney, and they gave them to the prosecution. So, the writings on 19 pages from the list are in the heartland of attorney-client material. Attorney Mark Agnefello told the U.S. District Court Judge Iran Submaramian, who the hell can pronounce that name, his voice angry as Combs sat to his left, nodding yes. He's like, yeah, they did the wrong thing here. It's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I guess, but did you do anything wrong? Have you done anything wrong, Diddy? Did you break your ex-wife's nose? Have you beaten up all these girls? Right? Did you bring kids to a sex party to, feed the desires of PDF files? Did you do any of those things? Did you by chance have sex with an underage A+ list celebrity? Did you do that? Is there anything else you've done wrong? Did you by chance offer $1 million to Keefe D to kill Tupac? Did you do that? Tell the truth, Diddy. Everyone's all, he did. We're all nodding yes, just like Diddy nodded yes in the courtroom. Before them, on the defense table, was a 4-inch stack of folders and paperwork from Combs' cell, including the actual to-do list. Agnefello told the judge. The lawyer waved some of the papers in the air as he spoke. You see this? You see these? These are for us. These are not for the prosecution. You're all, wow, this is dramatic. I feel my emotions rising. The temperature's rising because he's waving these papers at me. This is a dramatic moment. The judge is all, you're right. Diddy, just go back to your regular life. Forget about all this. You're fine, dude. The government now knows potential defense witnesses for the May 5th trial. Aren't they supposed to know defense witnesses? Actually, they for sure are, right? You can't call witnesses that the other side doesn't know about. I don't know. That's weird. And maybe I don't understand this. Maybe an attorney can clarify that for me in the comments. Oh, well in advance of when witness names must be shared, the lawyer complained. It's giving them an insight into the defense, and they should not have it. Okay, well, they would have gotten it anyway, but nonetheless. So he's like, I mean, that actually really doesn't make sense. They shouldn't have the proper amount of time to prepare for those witnesses. Think about it. I get to wait until way later to give them that, so they don't actually have time to prepare. What's the reason why both sides get the names of the witnesses? Well, so they can prepare a strong offense or defense. It's like, right. So you're saying that they shouldn't have known yet because they shouldn't have gotten enough time to prepare a good offense or defense? He's like, that's right. Got it. Okay. Cool. During their turn to speak, prosecutors presented a far different description of the 19 pages, alleging instead that they are evidence of Combs' ongoing attempts to use his cash and influence to obstruct justice. There were 2 highly incriminating errands among Combs' to-do list tasks. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, you get the point, dude, right? But here's one relates to the defendant paying a potential witness to, quote, find dirt on a potential victim. Well, that doesn't look very good. That doesn't look very good. Anyway, this one here, though, is saying that he actually was granted a bail hearing as a result of this. So the judge deemed this a reason enough to potentially offer him a bail hearing. Well, no, not potentially. They did offer him a bail hearing. So it is possible that he gets bail. I mean, it is possible, Seems crazy, but he might get bail. I mean, listen, I still have a problem with him being in jail before he's been convicted. As much as I think this guy is scum, doesn't seem reasonable. He hasn't been convicted of anything. Keep him in that absolute sheer hellhole when he has not been convicted. It's one of those things, man. It's like for all the years, anybody who is even moderately connected and paying attention to politics, everyone says this every single time. When their group is not in power and the other group does something and they change the rules to favor themselves, everyone on the other side always says the same thing. They're like, you're not going to like it when we're in power again, because there's always a power shift, right? It's like this group's in power, then this group's in power, then this group's in power, then this group's in power. That's like since time immemorial. You know what I mean? And so it's like, this is one of those things where, okay, yeah, I don't like Diddy. I think that he's, obviously a criminal. However, I am going to be, kind of consistent to my principles. I don't think it's fair for a person to sit in jail when they have not been convicted of anything. Bottom line, unless they are so dead to rights and they are such an obvious flight risk that, you can't justify letting them out. Perfect example, Lil Durk. If you guys know who that is a very famous rapper who just got rung up on conspiracy to commit murder. And it's not just like a, they were planning something. They murdered a guy. He paid for it. He ordered them. I mean, allegedly. The evidence on the internet is very overwhelming. But when they arrested him, he had bought all this stuff to flee the country. He was flying to Italy. Okay, that's different. Like, the guy was fleeing the country. Okay, then you're like, okay, of course we can't let him out because he's already shown intent to leave. Diddy is giving every possible way that he can. He's like, I am not leaving. He's given up his passports, he's given up all of his family's passports, he's given up $50 million. I mean, like, come on, man. Anyway, but let's get to animal sacrifice because this is much more interesting. All right, so check this story out. Diddy reportedly performed an animal sacrifice hours before being found not guilty in the 99 New York nightclub shooting case. So obviously, we know why he was found not guilty. Everybody's like, it's bribery. He made Shine a fall guy. He rigged his defense, and now we know him and J-Lo got around some kind of satanic ritual, and they were like, give me this bird. They slit its throat, and instantly we all knew he was going to be found not guilty. Okay, so a man identified as Gene Deal. Everybody knows who he is at this point. He's a bodyguard, very, very credible. He was the bodyguard during the 99 New York shooting trial with Jennifer Lopez was involved. He makes a shocking revelation related to the case. One of the most impactful claims is that the businessman and rapper performed an animal sacrifice hours before the verdict, which ultimately cleared him of what happened that night. This is one of the stories featured in the documentary The Honorable Shine, which premieres on Hulu on Tuesday, November 18th. According to the former bodyguard and then aspiring urban artist, I guess that actually premiered yesterday. Diddy was on his way to court to hear the verdict in the case when he suddenly asked his driver to stop in Central Park. Shine was a young artist signed to Bad Boy, the rapper's record label. That night, he was with Diddy, and he was the only one sentenced in the case. According to Deal, Diddy allegedly asked the driver to stop at a specific location on the street crossing from the New York City park. Then the artist reportedly got out of the car and met with a man holding a Bible. Diddy knelt and the man began burning something and surrounding him with smoke. Deal believes they were burning sage. The man then allegedly started praying, touched Diddy, and later told him to grab a white bird that was in the cage. The artist reportedly threw the bird in the air and then slammed it to the ground. The former bodyguard added that the ritual ended then and Diddy left. The final verdict shortly after the same day, Diddy was found not guilty of attempted bribery and illegal weapons charges that would have earned him up to 15 years in prison. In contrast, Shine was found guilty of assault, reckless endangerment, and illegal firearm possession and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. In the documentary, Shine claims that Diddy made him take the blame and that it was all part of the artist's demonic plot. Okay, so here's the thing, dude. Narrative also involved Jennifer Lopez. Okay, so sounds like she wasn't actually there. Doesn't matter. All right, so now you must be curious. What religion is represented by that type of animal sacrifice? Excellent question. So immediately I went to Satanism, obviously, right? I'm like, it's got to be Satanism. Okay, so I want to read you about this, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that this is Satanism, and it's because of the Bible. I think I know what it actually is, right? So animal sacrifice ban gains Satanist practices. The new ordinance would outlaw killing for ritualistic purposes. Officials say such slaughters are increasing. This is in 1990, by the way. Now, what's crazy about this is this was all the rage in the 90s, and then at some point, someone decided that this is all satanic panic and none of it's real. And so anytime you talk about these types of groups like that are Luciferian or whatever, they're like, oh, this is all part of this complete ridiculous hoax that the whole entire country grabbed a hold of. You're all, is it though? It was all a hoax. It's all a hoax. Really? No. Oh, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean, I've never been a part of one of them, but seems to be a lot of things that are tough to explain. But the mainstream media, super trustworthy, by the way, always says they call it the satanic panic. So anyway, seeking to curb an increase in ritual animal sacrifices, which were happening all the time, the Los Angeles City Councilman on Tuesday gave tentative approval to an ordinance that would ban occult-style slaughter and make such killings punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Because that was happening all the time, because it's definitely not real, you guys. Okay, it's definitely not real. As many as 300 ritual sacrifices have occurred in Los Angeles during the past year, leaving a trail of mutilated carcasses and missing pet reports in every community of the city, according to Michael Burns, district supervisor of the City Department of Animal Regulation. Hey, guys. Okay, 300 animal sacrifices back then, okay? Now, again, this is not like current, but that happened in 1990, and ever since then, you have heard nothing but things that supposedly debunk this huge satanic panic, right? Sounds like it was pretty real back then, dude. Animal sacrifice has been increasing in the recent years with the spread of satanic cults and the growth of Caribbean and South American immigrant communities that practice Santeria, an African animist religion, Burns said. So you heard him call it Santeria, right? So that is what I think that we are looking at with Diddy, and I will show you exactly why I believe that is the case. So animal sacrifice is a central part of Santeria, a religion that originated in West Africa and combines African paganism with Roman Catholicism. So what did we hear in that description of what Diddy did? He met a guy across the street from the park who had a Bible, was burning sage, and then they killed an animal. Okay? And again, Santeria, a religion that originated in West Africa and combines African paganism with Roman Catholicism. And guess what? There's also some more information related to Diddy being a Santeria person, because he's got some huge tattoo on his back that people say is some kind of like, Cuban, or I don't know, like it's like from the island, some kind of like Haitian religion that in my sounds very similar to Santeria. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so this is the tattoo that Diddy has on his back. This exactly. So I'm going to read this for the first time with you guys on. The Arzuli is a family of Iowa that are often associated with water, femininity, and feminine bodies. They are one of the only group of spirits directly tied to these characteristics who become possessed. Often are women or masisi, effeminate or homosexual men. That's what's on Diddy's back, in case you guys don't know that. Here you go, watch. This is Diddy's back tattoo. Here you go. Right there in the bottom right corner. That's Diddy's back tattoo. It's 1,000% what this is, okay? So as Arzuli is a Haitian African spirit of love, beauty, jewelry, dancing, luxury, and flowers. She wears 3 wedding rings, 1 for each husband. Dambala, Agwe, Agun. Her symbol is a heart. Her colors are pink, blue, white, gold, yada, yada. Very fond of beauty and finery. Freda is femininity and compassion embodied, yet she also has a darker side. She is seen as jealous and spoiled, and within some voodoo circles is considered to be lazy. During ritual possession, she may enter the body of either a man or a woman. She enjoys the game of flirtation and seduces people without distinguishing between the sexes. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. No way. This is on Diddy's back, dude. This is the tattoo on Diddy's back. Okay? Often are women or homosexual effeminate men. And then it says this. She enjoys a game of flirtation and seduces people without distinguishing between the sexes. That is what Diddy has tattooed on his back. Wow. Okay. She's often identified with the Mater Dolorosa, as well as another Iowa name. She is conceived of as never able to attain her heart's most fervent desire. For this reason, she always leaves a service in tears. Common syncretizations include, the queen of the Petro-Nation. She often depicted as a fearsome black woman protectively holding tea in her arms. She particularly fierce protector of women, children, and neglects of society. Wow. Ha! Hey, she's a particularly fierce protector of women and children and neglects of society. Hey, that sounds like Diddy. Said no one ever. She is in contrast, you got to get material. Who will bless you with material riches, spiritual knowledge. Okay, so that is both very notable and also hilarious. Oh, because, when I think Diddy, I think the protector of women and children. Fucking yeah, right, dude. Anyway, that's enough for today on Diddy. We'll have many, many more videos coming this week on that gentleman situation, because there's a whole other slew of stories that I've not covered yet, but we will tomorrow. So love you guys. Bye.